Maybe not. I guess they're just not, man. I was really hyped for something unique here for Jiwoo because he's known to pull out an unusual pick, the Neela, the Smolder, you know, Corky bot, something like that. I thought maybe he was trying to do something. I do think that, you know, given the hold up.
Nice little hook there. Even an Ignite to come out. Just a bit of pressure being put on, especially with Jiwoo at level 6 first. And all the time he's been conceded. I say that he is moving back in. As here comes the Maokai ultimate to deny him. No smite available, or even possible, I should say, for Gideon.
And he just smites one and then leaves, and at least gets one. But it looks like it's going to be a 3-for-3 trade.
Looks like he messed up his smite as well, so didn't quite have that. Here comes Lehens just flashing the wall. Just going to cast his R button onto Perfect. Says, you're going down, buddy, and he will. Lehens sets up the play and gives first a very difficult objective, and he's just not in time for the Drake. So I guess just give them a free Drake instead, because you messed up the leash on the Raptors.
He's at as well.
But Wolf, he needed the big Raptor.
I guess
Let's
so.
be real. I've seen this one before, but this time Perfect is behind the turret. And you know what? It's going to actually work out, especially because Kuz is here. And he is looking to turn this one around. Flash available. Flash on in. Gets onto Jiwoo. The flash chains, and Jiwoo is just dead. Just like that, so quickly. And even Lehens as well will bite the dust as he goes down. Gideon gets out. A big committal here from KT, but it pays off. They pick up 2 kills.
Yeah, this time the jungler is there. This time he is going to make you pay for it. However, Nongshim racing, they will lose the race.
Yeah, I mean, makes sense. KT, 3 people down in the bottom lane. Actually, 4. Feet of strength here.
Yes, this is big.
And over the wall they go. Duckdom, he is going to get burst down. The knockup comes in. He takes a long time to fall, actually, but big block on the Maokai.
Hold the tempo. Such a small gold lead. Really well. Is Lehens again?
Going in once again. Ult in onto Duckdom as well, as Fisher trying to extend for him, and they're just going to kill Wei on the backside of that. Fisher wanted a second kill, and at first I was like, man, just kill the Braum, you know, take what you can get. As Lehens to 13%. You see, like, Nongshim are like, I know about the buff. I saw the patch notes. Gideon, he wants to steal. He's going to get it. And there you go. He picks up
backline access. Who are you accessing? The tank Jace? Or the Kai'Sa that has flash and can shield with her ultimate and has a bunch of peel in this draft? Right now, I don't know if... oh boy.
They're just letting Lehens do whatever he wants in their jungle now. Trying to force a flash, I think, is Lehens, but BDD, now he's going in. He's going to scoop up 2, but he's alone. The Mega Gon comes in, and finally the rest of the team does follow up, and Nongshim will pick up the first kill. Fisher immediately going to melt here to the Mbessa, though. And guess who is not here? It's Jiwoo. Finally comes in, finally presses his buttons, and may be able to turn this one around, but the front line is going down. Jiwoo still unchecked. It's Jiwoo against Perfect, and it will be the Kai'Sa who wins the fight in the end. Kuz all alone, and Jiwoo, he took his sweet time, but when he showed
the Aurora that's already there, and the ability for Jiwoo to follow up so quickly, how tanky the Nautilus is, opting into a fight like this when you have no control is just really not going to be it for me. They did play
in. Will they actually start it with the Otacon buff? You have to.
Gideon's like, this is the biggest grub I've ever seen.
Small grubs, big grubs, I take them all down.
He's got, I mean, they've got tons of control over this choke point. Fisher alone could just ult to prevent them from coming in.
Well, he definitely will eventually, I would assume. Lehens is just going to get the withdrawal, but nobody is getting into the pit. Kuz cannot get it down. The Aurora ult is in, and Fisher obviously going to try for a kill. Not going to pick it up, as Kingen also does get cleaned up there in the withdrawal. Some extra golds given over to KT.
He's actually going to love it a lot.
Yeah. You got Tank Jace, you got Sejuani, going to be even that much more obnoxious to take down, even the Nautilus, right? It's not insignificant. You know, we love to meme Chemtech
Seekers.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like that's the thing, you know, especially before he gets his, you know, Last Whisper item. Once he does finish that, he's not really in terms of their macro play and vision denial, but they've gotten really good at it.
Yeah.
Especially when not challenged, which has happened a lot in this game. Gideon is very tanky. Here comes the Maokai ultimate, will lock them down, and now the turn onto Sejuani. Eventually they get the kill, but look at Kinga's position, hops over the wall, and guess what? Duckdom's dead again. Fisher on the backside here. Can they kill Mbessa? They finally will. as Perfect does get one kill. Kingen super tanky. It's him up against BDD. Fisher able to come back in and do a bit of damage. The hook hits for Lehens, and BDD is running away from a Nautilus, and Fisher is running away from a Maokai. They might both go down, although BDD gets over the wall and he gets a plant. The one thing to keep him alive. And now
he's got
Lehens
Ripmaker.
has to respect. In goes Kingen looking for the kill, and he will pick.
As you know, the setup there was really nice for KT, one of their best fights of the game. That solo for Nongshim, that static shift really worth its value here in gold for Jiwoo in this game, really helping them clear them out.
Yeah, you see the trade of ults here. Kingen is level 18. He's jumping into the fight. Fisher, though, I'm not sure about that one. He wants to get ducked on, but ducked on, oh, he's going to get killed and sniped by the Nautilus. Also, BDD, meanwhile, just going down. And Perfect, he's got to do it all alone. He's the one damage dealer left. It is Ambessa, but it's not quite enough. And Nongshim, they lock down the fight. And if they've got a wave here, they might look to push to end instead. Maybe a turn towards Baron. No, they say, okay, it's late enough. Let's push down mid.
I think they can get this inhibitor very easily. The wave being so far behind, though, because of BDD Sundisk, is going to buy some time for some respawns here, but they've got so much damage at this point.
I think they just get it.
I think they do end.
Jiwoo with the classic Kaisa BM. You get that all the time in solo queue. And
oh, it's classic. And Gideon can even tank the turret additionally here because he has so much health, and it's just enough time. KT knocked down a peg here in the first game. Some really great plays here, actually. Compete a lot. It'll just be the Alistair.
Yeah.
That one's not one I really saw coming, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, there's always, when you're thinking about Lehens, it's like, well, he could play Blitzcrank, like, he could play all this crazy stuff, and then he just
goes for a cheeky reset there. KT do grab the dragon. This is going to be trade of objectives. And neither team is positioned.
They have no idea. It's just a face check. Duck Dom. Eventually, he's just going to get knocked up. They just have no idea. Nobody checks the brush. And they're just going to die for it.
So what he said, right? You seemed to not.
Yeah.
Yep.
It was a pretty cracked play.
Yeah.
Lehens is dead now. Gideon is going to miss his ult. It was beyond the max range. He tried his best. It was on target, but now maybe a dive. This is a Poppy and an MF to try to clear the wave. The cleanse comes through, but it is MF, so she just dies. And Gideon, ooh, very close. A bunch of flashes have to be used by KT just to get out. Fisher gonna show himself first and then look to enter. BDD trying to set something up, but he might just bait his team in as Fisher gets the kill. BDD in a rough spot. Gideon getting knocked into the wall, and Fisher still here. The Q3 gonna hit again, and Duck Dom, he doesn't have any sums. Nice charm here from BDD, very close to getting the kill.
Crazy. His movement is so difficult to predict in this situation, and he just snap flash ults and trades one back. Not able to get the full setups here, though, onto Duck Dom, unfortunately.
Here is that somebody. Yeah, you just press your R button, in goes BDD, gonna land the charm. Kingen running real fast to his doom, and he's trying to actually get the kill, and BDD flashes away! He turns it around, Kingen! Are you kidding me? And now he's gonna get a double kill! What? How did he manage that?
He doesn't even have Rip to deny this. Like, maybe even stop some backs, as they are just going to force this turret, and if anyone stays, they're dead.
Yeah.
Really good play here from Nongshim. So oppressive. Man, now I think
they couldn't quite burst him 100-0, and then he flashes away from some of the damage. Trying to dive into Gasante. That's an interesting one, as Lehens tanking it up with his ult, and that will be enough to tank all of that turret damage. In goes Kuz, and he has to flash away.
Too much for it, but the flash being down now again hurts his ability to engage in a really meaningful team fight. And it's also just going to be the losing control of the dragon. So they're winning on both fronts.
Yeah. I mean, they control everything. Like, I thought game one was pretty oppressive, and one Gideon rather is going to flash just to avoid Kuz having a chance to, you know, flash ultim or anything. Doesn't actually have flash. Fisher, wow. Going to avoid that. He's still dead. But nice mechanics in his death. Buying time for the Nongshim push into mid, I guess, and bot.
Yeah, and they don't get Dragon yet, but they should be able to gather for it here because Fisher will have TP in 25 seconds and can head over there if it is necessary. Dragon, these things are all up. And he got the successful, push in. They got the turret earlier.
Because Sanadakon's gone.
And like, Fisher can just let this turret go and TP bottom. Just get out of here if you wanted to. Like,
or he could die. That's okay, too. Yeah, he's very dead. I just don't think it really matters, but it's pretty funny that he does good.
My point here, though, is that, like, yeah, he shouldn't have died there, and he could have just given it up. But if they don't try to dive him...
At this point in time, it's 2 items completed, plus the Stork Pen boots, upgraded feats of strength, and tried to set something up there, and Kingen immediately knew because it was very obvious. Like, why would a level 13 K'Sante be running at me, right? Now trying to run at the Leona as Wei tries to flash away. A lot of damage coming up from both the MF and the Rumble, but not quite enough as Wei will survive. Lehens as well getting pretty low. He's going to survive. Gideon might have to pay for that, but the withdrawal does come through.
Just basically put everyone around Kingen. So, like you mentioned, Ahri can't beat him in the side lane anymore. Is that teleport? But the fact that he could have come down and helped out just shows that Nongshim has so many options. Lehens.
Yeah, KT trying to go for a play on the top side, and Nongshim were just 1 step ahead of this one. Jonah Strong was hiding the vision for a reason. And that's
we can't see anything on the map. And once again, can you catch this Rumble by Ahri? No, because the whole team is there. And this allows Fisher to just be on the other side of the map, killing objectives and killing minions. As well as Nongshim are hit by a rocket, but I don't think they care.
I mean, they should be able to get this Baron. What happens after is really the question. Not even going to smite that one. Charm goes down on a Kingen, but he's still alive. There's no follow-up. The rest of KT not even there. Duckdomp's not even here yet. As finally he is going to show up. Lehen's got his ult rolling, but it's 5v4. And you just lost the Baron. So Nongshim, they say, okay, we'll take our win and we'll back. It's so suffocating. They do have a lot of flank wards, actually, but they just don't really have a lot of vision in their own jungle. It has been that way for quite a while.
Maybe.
Nice dodge on the harpoon, but that does mean that you're not in range. Meanwhile, the inhibitor is going down.
They let Kingen do the pushing, and then they let the 4-man do the hitting. And then when they try to get the Rumble, he's just so far away, he's so safe they can't catch him, and then turrets go down, inhibs go down. This is beautiful macro from Nongshim on display.
Yeah, it really is. It's crazy to see the development of this team. And unfortunately for KT, we haven't really we haven't seen much from them. You know, they are our 3rd seed, but they're kind of getting bodied right now. There's not too much to talk about in this game anymore, which is why we're talking about all the stakes and the narrative. Is now looking for the dive here. Lehens goes in. He can easily tank this turret because it's just dead meat. And they don't have a wave, but Fisher doesn't seem to care as he will be pulled many different ways and taken down. That's gonna.
And the next objective, you know, is like where you have bottom side. This is only the like weak side Yone in this game sides this whole game. To be fair, though, like
but also really dying.
Yeah.
Well, Gideon's just gonna step on some chompers, and well, he stepped on something, got stunned up, and either way, we're diving still as we're killing the inhibitor. Maybe a chance here for KT. Gideon is gonna go down, but Jiwoo able to peel up against Cousin Kingen. He is the raid boss. He is the guy you gotta kill. You can kill Jiwoo. They don't really care about that. You gotta take down Kingen, and then we're talking as BDD just gonna get gunned down here by Jiwoo. And that should be finally the end of the game here for Nongshim, taking game 2.
Clean 2-0 start, and for KT, unfortunately, there's a lot to see here. Nongshim, very dominant start to this series. Lehens puffs up his collar. He's ready to pack it up and take a break here as Nongshim, a little bit risky as well, but can, you know, if it can find its way into the backline, do well. But both 80 carries here for KT Rolster are pretty mobile. I actually like what KT put together here, to be honest, because they have a composition farm his jungle. And it's going to be a smite fight. Lehens.
Uh-oh. Cuz pushed away. You see they don't overcommit to it with the rotations coming in. As Lehens might be in a bit of trouble. The disengage cone does come in. Oh, Wei's going to miss the engage, and Fisher Valkyries on Cuz. He's not going to get the kill. Lehens is low, but so is BDD. BDD goes down first, and Fisher again.
Case, I don't think he's going to die doing it because Fisher is here.
And they're trying to set up something onto a Rakan who presses his dash ability. Meanwhile, the grubs are all gone. So the grubs maybe
here.
Maybe this is the moment. Trying to get the dive. It's got to come from Wei first. He has to take the aggro. Kingen gets the knockup, denies the crash down, and Wei nearly dies. Meanwhile, Kingen will survive and lives easily They could go for a redive here, but meanwhile, a little dive under here, trying to predict the dash was Lahens. Kind of works out, but doesn't get the knock-up, gets the predict, but now BDD with his ult available, just going in, 1v2, might have a Q, gets it down. As meanwhile, up in the top side, Kingen, they will succeed on the redive, so KT finally.
He did use his smite there, so it's a bit weird.
Well, I think they just want to go for the fight, but they're not really doing it very well. They're trying to chase the Rakan. TP will come in. And Fisher, you see, he's not even going to TP, so it's actually Nongshim that make the final call and say, well, we're just not going to fight for this one. Kingen just going to give a thumbs up, but might be in a bit of trouble here. Has to try to fight, goes down. That's another kill over to the
nice
Zeri.
Setup here for KT. This is impressive, and Kingen doesn't have flash.
They do have Gideon here, and there's the knock-up in a way. He's only a level 5 Rel. I think he's just dead. No flash available, so A is just left to die. The TP will come through. They get the kill over to Gideon. Now they're going to try to turn this one onto DuckDom, who has to flash again, but the follow-up is there. There's just too much hard engage on the side of
his lane lead, but he is on a timer. He is Renekton after all. This feels like a really nice neutralization of the advantages that KT had earlier. I don't think they had to go that deep for the play, and Wei was left on his lonesome isolated there. You can see his flash is up now, but he didn't have it at the moment. It's a whole turret
down for Wei, and now he's just taking a massive amount of poke damage. And yeah, turret goes, perfect TPs. They want to take the fight. Wei's getting healed up by the Nidalee. Maybe want to go in here. Wei not going to hit anything as he does get the shift out of them, but the turn comes through from Nongshim, and the team fighting is just so much better from them. Nice steal from Kaz. And he will, oh, he's not going to go in there for that one. And BDD trying to make it all happen by himself. He's just going to go down immediately. You can feel the desperation
look
in
at
the air for
DuckDom's
KT.
damage in that fight, 99. He did nothing. Doesn't have the range yet at this point.
They're not really all there. We'll see, I mean, what this next fight looks like as they get pushed off the dragon and Nongshim take it for free. They say thank you for the leash. No engage comes through. I say that, and the engage comes through from Nongshim. And this time, Wei's going to hit the front line. Okay, the follow-up is just not there, though. And again, you've got this massive Ezreal doing tons of damage. Alongside of the Corki, they just line up for it. And Kaz is also going to go down. No disengage code for him. Triple kill for the Corki.
And they're acting like in these engages, they've got this big swath of AoE AP damage they're going to layer over this Rel or something, but it's a 1.5 item Tristan, a 1.5 item Zeri. You know, it's a big ult. But then what? And they were late on the play to get to the dragon. Once again, the engage feels like desperation. As DuckDom was like fishing for Jiu in that fight, he keeps trying to look for the rocket jump onto the Ezreal, and the Ezreal's just like, okay, I E out. You're not a Kaisa. King he's just juggling the aggro. It's fine. Okay. We can PvE, right?
Right? When the circle comes up, yeah, you got to... Gideon!
Where's the white mage?
The circle!
Healer!
When the circle comes out, don't stand in the circle.
KT can stem the bleeding. BDD does have Runins. If he had it during that Rel, ultimately he would have done a little bit more.
Well, we got to sleep here. Cuz going to flash out. Gideon, oh, the damage is insane, but the follow-up here from Wei is quite good, and now you do have DuckDom over the top. He's going to miss his flash, but he gets away, and the withdrawals, they get one. How many more will they get is the question. Kingen flashes in, gets another kill, and they're struggling so much just to take out a con buffs away from Nongshim. And, you know, they get 3, but Kingen's just running through a turret. Like, you can feel the vibes right now are so...
Just Ornn gets the turret. As he does withdraw, but you know it's one step
far ahead, and you can't catch up. He's so good at it, at farming, especially on Lilia. Another engage comes in here. They're trying to lock down Gideon, but he's so tanky. Even Lahens is going to get away, and so the engage not quite there. They turn onto the Renekton, does Nongshim. They burn him to a crisp. In goes BDD over the wall, but he can't even catch Lahens.
They just can't catch anybody. They just can't do it. It's just everyone's too slippery here. They get the jump onto Jiu. He shifts over the wall, and then
all right,
maybe
a chance. I mean, the flash on in. DuckDom, yeah, no, he's just big celebration for Nongshim, but also kind of the opposite of that here for KT. So it's very much a best of 5 under their belt from plans.
True.
They're just doing the Baron now. And the damage is there. I mean, it's Fisher, it's Kingen and Gideon. They should have enough, as now trying to engage here onto Lahens. They're thinking about getting Kaz in, but it's too late. Perfect gonna spot it. that health bar, how low it is. And now, again, you just have so much reliable engage on the side of Nongshim. You press your buttons, and from this far ahead, you can kill anyone, including Perfect, who is going to go down, I believe, now 0-4. Here comes Kingen. He's not done yet. He's like, you wanna go more? He's gonna find Duckdom as well. Duckdom not able to hop away. And it just feels like bullying at this point. A singular sleep onto Just Cuz as they hunt them down like prey. As at least Duckdom is gonna get that kill with the Zult. BDD as well does a little bit of something over here on the right side, but he goes down. Dies to Lilia, who now has 7 kills. Gideon 7, 0, and 10.
And meanwhile, Jiu's just pressing W on buildings and making them blow up. They are ready to end this one. Arguably the most one-sided match, including play-ins that we've seen here in LCK Cup, and it's a best of 5. It doesn't feel like one way.
Oh, they're going to get another engage here, but he just dies.
Oh, just one more.
Yeah.
0-6.
I mean, they have another wave coming in, and they still have Baron, so try as they may, KT, I don't think they've got a shot at this point in time, unfortunately for them. But Nongshim, man, have they leveled up. KT did not know what they were getting themselves into tonight, as Nongshim will take the 3-0 in flying fashion.
Destruction of KT Rolster. Len's giving Cuz a little bit of a hug there. Former teammates, of course, but Nongshim looking like a real force to be reckoned with. Even Jiu, who's been criticized a lot recently, having a great series, and the macro was great, the oppression, the vision control. This is a team that, if you took the nameplate off, you could say was a top team, like if you really didn't know who was playing. With the drafts we saw, Kingen playing incredible League of Legends in the top lane, Lehens controlling everyone, Gideon just suddenly becoming a superstar here in the LCK Cup. That's what this whole tournament is all about. You look at rosters, right, going into the beginning of the year, and you're like, well, what is this power level of this Nongshim roster? It's kind of this mishmash of veterans and some newer players. And then LCK Cup. Kespa Cup, we had a little bit of it, right? But then LCK Cup comes along and you're like, this is where you really find out what this roster is capable of with a few games under the belt. Lehen's capable of a little trash talk as well. And Nongshim are going into, even if they lose that next round, they're likely to be chosen by D+, because I don't think D+ is going to choose T1 or HLE, regardless of who wins tomorrow. We'll see, but I don't think so. I mean, even if you lose to D+ in the next round, you have accomplished so much.
And who knows? Maybe they can actually challenge them.
They could potentially do it. Like right now,
it's just so much momentum.
Yeah, right now I feel like there's a real chance that they just keep riding that momentum and make that a competitive match in the second round of playoffs.
Yeah.
Who knows what the ceiling's going to be?
The most important game in that series is game 1. Like, DK will have to come out, assuming they choose them, as you mentioned, is very likely. They're going to have to come out and bop them in game 1. Otherwise, Nongshim might just keep running with it, because they have so many series wins under their belt, outside of that loss to T1, obviously. Here are some of the replays we saw, as KT had their moments, but they also had their moments, if you know what I mean. Nongshim, consistent as always, no real notes for them. Gideon continuing to get ahead. They're drafting great comps. I feel like Chelly and the crew has done a fantastic job ever since the end of the group battle. They've really just hit their flow state and kind of figured it out, what works for them.
And it kind of feels like Lehens has been given a lot more reign in the draft, a lot more reins in the comms, in the shot calling. He is really, feels like limit testing constantly, and even in the small whiffs that you see, like the flash hook into the wall, he just doesn't lose his cool. Sometimes we see Lehens in best of 5s lose his cool a little bit when he drops that rough performance in game 1 and just never gets back his mojo, but he just knows he has to be that positive voice, and he absolutely has been over the last 2.5 weeks. And Nongshim just straight up looked good.
Yeah.
KT, on the other hand, maybe a bit of a wake-up call in terms of what needs to happen between now and the LCK. You've already loaned out your AD carry. I don't think you're going to make any roster changes, but perhaps some shot calling changes and maybe some communication issues could be worked on.
Yeah. Absolutely. We'll listen in to how Nongshim end the game. Corky hit the turret. Ult in 6, and they're just continuing to say just hit the tower.
아 먼저 해봐 먼저 해봐. 뭐야 이거?
Tank for me, please.
나이스.
Great job, guys.
아 진조장.
I think he actually said good job in English there.
Very calm victory after some pretty explosive moments. Duckdom's damage not that low, but not what you want to see on Tristana. I did mention I wanted to see it after the game. It was just an issue of KT just never in range to hit Nongshim. Like, they were always reaching for plays, and Perfect kept flanking. He's like, I'm flanking, and then the team can't follow up, and he's like, I'm dead because I was flanking, and they found me and failed.
Yeah, Selahen's going to pick up the player of the match here, and not a big surprise. I think that so many of the early plays that he made, and even game one, his Nautilus was insane. Like, that really gave them that huge momentum in the series because he was just making play after play after play. You could definitely give a shout out to Kingen in game two, especially. He would be the POG of that one for his Rumble performance. But even the Rakan here from Lehens was great.
I went back and forth. I ultimately went for Kingen, actually. Mostly just because of that one heroic play that just ended the game.
Yeah.
But still, I think Lehens was...
Any Gideon enjoyers?
Gideon was a niche option. I feel like maybe a Jonas Strong angle there, something like that. But nobody got predictions correct in terms of scoreline today. Most of our predictors went for Nongshim, but nobody thought it was going to be a 3-0.
Everybody was like 3-2 mostly. Were there any 3-1 Nongshimmers? I think there was
maybe one.
One? We have Jisun on the task. We'll see if we can figure it out before we do throw it into the interview. But that would be the closest person. The person that was like Nongshim Chronicler. The one person that went for 3-1 for Nongshim. So there you go. Chronicler knew it, I guess, the most out of all of us. But we have the interview now. I'll throw it over to Deer for the translation.
Thank you very much, guys. This is Deer for the POM interview translation, joined by Lehens on the side of Nongshim Red Force. What a wild crowd. You have secured playoffs round 2. How do you feel? I'm very happy. And our next opponent is very strong, so I'm a little worried about it, and I'll be on my toes for that one. So your past match history was not